What's up, everyone? Anna from Growth in God, where I talk about my journey from New Age spirituality to Christianity and what I'm learning along the way. So today's video is going to be about looking at Christianity from the eyes of the human need of certainty versus looking at Christianity from the eyes of other needs such as love or contribution. First, I'm going to go through what are the 6 human needs and how we all embody them and how they kind of rank in your stage of psychosocial development. Then I will relate the 6 human needs and how it corresponds to what I view is going on in the New Age versus Christianity in terms of the psychosocial development of spiraldynamics created by Dr. Claire Graves. And then I will give you some examples of what it looks like to look at Christianity through the need of certainty, which is what most Christians look at when you think of a Christian nowadays versus what they could look at and what maybe the saints and mystics have looked through Christianity through. So without further ado, let me explain the 6 human needs and why they're important. So the 6 human needs is a branch of psychology. You can look it up online. Chloe Madonis and Anthony Robbins have corresponded together to come up with this really straightforward system of analyzing people, what motivates them. So let's go through the 6 human needs really quick. Every human has 6 needs, and the first one is certainty. And certainty just means security, safety. We need safety. We need security. We need to know that the floor beneath us isn't going to crumble. We're going to fall through the earth. We need to know that we can wake up every morning and have a car waiting outside or a bus waiting outside to take us to work. We need the certainty that the sun is going to come up every day and set every night, and the moon will appear in the sky once the sun has set. That's certainty. But if we have too much certainty, we're going to get bored. So that's when the need for variety or uncertainty comes in, and that's the second human need. So basically, variety is the spice of life. Variety gives life a lot of flavor. Now, you can run through the spectrum with all these human needs. You might be a person that requires a lot of certainty. That's going to leave you with a very different life than someone who requires a lot of variety or a lot of uncertainty, a lot of excitement and difference in their life. The third human need that everyone has is the need for significance. So the need to feel more important than other people. Some people use spirituality or religion to feel more important this way. You know, if anyone with a certain religion could be anything, could be Hinduism, could be, if you're in a certain level of Hinduism, or if you're a Christian, you think that you're better than everyone else. That's significance. That's religion driven by significance. Other ways you can get significance is if you're in the orange psychosocial stage of development when it comes to spiraldynamics, and I made a whole set of videos on spiraldynamics and religion and how we can interpret the world and what's going on with spirituality through spiraldynamics. But if you're in the orange stage, you're going to find significance through your job, your title, how much money you make, what you wear, what car you drive, what friends you have, how many friends in high places do you have. So that's kind of significance, the need to feel important, the need to feel valued, the need to feel unique. And significance is not always a bad thing. You can get significance by being loved, for instance. That is said to be the highest form of significance, because when you are truly loved by a person, imagine how significant that makes you, right? The next human need is love and connection. So this is the need to feel that we belong to something, to feel connected, to feel, friendship, or a true love between somebody. A lot of people settle for connection because love for them is too scary. So think about that. So coming from a need of connection or love, that's a higher level need than, say, certainty. So when you're worried about what food you're going to eat, how safe your neighborhood is versus, once you get all that taken care of, and this kind of relates to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, then you start worrying about love. How can I connect with someone? How can I make my relationship better with people? How can I manage my employees better in a way that's very empathetic and congruous to who I am, and to be kind and gentler with people. So that's being led by the need of love and connection. And the fifth human need is growth. So it is said that if you're not growing, you're dying. So when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot. So when you're green, you're still growing. You're alive. You're green. You have all this, lifeblood in you. But then when you start rotting, that's when you stop growing. And when you start growing, you start dying, whether it be spiritually or physically or intellectually. It's good to keep reading books, keep learning, keep growing in how you look at yourself, grow in your awareness. And that's what a lot of New Age spirituality talks about, we're going to grow, we're going to learn, grow together. That doesn't mean that Christianity doesn't look at that either. I'm growing in Christianity just the same as I grew in the New Age, and actually a lot different and a lot deeper than I ever did. So let's move on to the sixth human need. And the sixth human need is contribution. And I want to say that the first four human needs that I discussed, certainty, uncertainty, love, connection, and significance, are the need of the physical self. So it's kind of like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the two high-level needs are growth and significance. And those are said to be the needs of the spirit. So, when you're looking at growing, sometimes some people can get through their whole lives without growing, without focusing on that need to grow. But it's not really a vivid life, and some people can go through their life without ever contributing. Maybe inadvertently they might contribute in some way. If someone's very grateful for everything, they look at everything as a blessing, then maybe they have contributed in that way. But generally, if you're not focused on contributing or growing, then you might have a very bland life, and not a life that's well connected and glowing and teeming with spiritual essence. So that's the way I see it. So contribution, right? It's believing in something higher than yourself and giving more than yourself. So if you go to a job and you have a career, and when you go through your career, you just do the work that's required of you, versus if you go to your job and you focus on adding value to people's lives, doing one step further than you're not told, interacting with a customer in a very connected way, in a way that supersedes what they think they will get, in a way that changes their lives, or helping someone else going through a hard time in a way that changes their lives. So contribution is all about transforming others, giving to others, and that also transforms yourself. Tony Robbins says the secret to living is giving. So that comes from a state of mind of contribution. And what I found is that when living from a state of contribution and love, my quality of life is a lot higher than if I'm living it through the eyes of meeting the needs of certainty and significance. So let's look at how people think, and look at Christianity in the past, and how a lot of people think Christians are, especially the fundamentalist types, versus a different way of looking at the same religion that people might not be aware of to look at, and might be even more powerful for everyone. So, as I said before, the fundamentalists are more of in the blue stage of development, very rules-based, rigid dogma, right? They're looking, and blue is characterized mostly as driven by the needs of significance and certainty. So what is looking at Christianity from a certainty perspective looks like? Well, it basically means I want to make everyone like me. Like, I want to make sure everyone believes what I believe, or what it's believed in the Bible, or, what I need to tell people, what they're doing wrong, that kind of thing. I mean, those things are valid. I'm not saying that every need is important. But if you lead with that need, you're going to get a very, very different result than if you lead with a higher level need, which I'll explain later. So significance. what does looking at Christianity from a significance need look like? Well, it could look at asking yourself, how can I get into heaven? How can I avoid hell? That could also be certainty as well. You know, how can I be comfortable and avoid hell? I mean, if you look at Christianity from a how can I get into heaven, you're looking at it from a horse trading perspective. Like, I'm going to do this need, like I'm going to do this thing to contribute in order that I get into heaven. And you got to look at the way that comes across, not only to you, not only to others, but to your soul. You know, giving something to get. A lot of people do that because it is said that people are very self-interested. You know, like, what's in it for me? Sure, that's really natural. That's really human. But all I'm saying is that there's other needs you can go to and draw from than those needs. So let's look at Christianity from a different needs perspective. So what I'm saying is, what I've seen in my life is that most of the time Christians look at Christianity from the need of certainty to make everyone like themselves, make everyone, you know, follow these rules, or significance. How can I get into heaven? You know, how I can go to church every Sunday. I'm better than you. That kind of thing. Well, what I'm saying is that there are different ways of looking at Christianity, and perhaps more people can grow and learn to love and make the world a better place through these needs. So let's go into them. What does it look like to see Christianity through the eyes of the human need of love? Well, it looks like this. When you see a person, you ask yourself, how can I love this person? That's it. That's what it means. You be a Christian, and you ask yourself, when you meet everyone, even the people who are mean to you, even the people who are different religions from you, even the people who don't believe in any religion or spirituality and they just care about doing well at their job, you don't make them wrong. You just ask yourself, how can I love this person? Isn't that congruous with the Christian teachings anyway? What does it look like when you're looking at Christianity from a growth perspective? You would ask yourself, how can I grow more in God? How can I connect myself with God in order to grow? How can I be closer to God? How can I follow God's word in order to make myself grow and make myself more, you know, sanctified? How can I allow God to sanctify me? That kind of thing. How can I learn and grow as a person? How can I learn and grow spiritually? So basically, in Christianity, you look at how, you know, this isn't the only way for growth, obviously, but this is just the way that I can think of at the moment. But how can I grow more in God, which is what this channel is all about. So what does it look like to look at Christianity from a contribution perspective, from the human need of contribution? How can I lead my life as a Christian, leading by the human need of contribution? So it looks like this. You ask yourself, and you have this leading question in your life through everything. How can I serve? Imagine how much more powerful that question is than if you're asking yourself, how can I get into heaven? Or how can I make this person more like me? How can I make this person believe what I believe, right? If you look at it, how can I serve? How can I love this person? How can I grow in God? Those are the human needs that correspond with higher levels of psychosocial development on the spiraldynamics scale. So for instance, like I said, stage blue is governed by certainty and significance. Stage orange is also governed by certainty and significance, and you add a little bit of growth there. And stage green is governed by contribution and connection. So if you're in a stage green of Christianity, which is what I feel is the key to Christianity going forward in the future, stage green or above, you know, because that's where the New Age is, in stage green mostly. But many people don't know that you can look at Christianity from a stage green as well. It's just as deep, maybe even deeper for me. It has been more deep than New Age spirituality, looking at it from this perspective. So how can I grow with God? How can I serve? How can I love this person? So try out those new levels of thinking and let me know how you go. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.